Hey guys, thanks for coming and seeing this video here. We're over here at St. Elmo's, Colorado. We're just behind the town actually. It's actually a pretty nice place, kind of busy. A lot of traffic with people coming to see it and observe the buildings that are still standing. There's actually a construction company, I believe, called Older Than Dirt that's out here refitting and making sure everything stays standing. Let's go take a look.
This is an On Track Studios production.
It's a stamp that just stamps out nails.
Yeah.
And then it stamps the end to make the head.
I guarantee you, like, if you actually do some digging, you can find a lot of the original stuff. That's all I have to say with that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude, like, oh.
Well, we find nails every day, but you know, they're so old.
So this is actually the cell that they use.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would look like. You can feel free to go up on in there. Just don't step on my electronic equipment there.
I'm not touching nothing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there were 2 cells. There were no recorded cases of murder in St. Elmo history, and very few recorded cases of violence.
Somebody was flashing out.
This was used mostly as a drunk tank. Because because 2,000 people lived here in town,
Yeah.
and the town serviced 3,000 more people that lived in the surrounding area. And so,
Oh, either.
yeah. And we got those logs milled just as is, but then we used an axe to scar them to look like the original hewn logs looked.
Yeah, these. So you guys actually hand hacked these. That's.
Well, no, they were flattened when we got them, but we took an axe.
Yeah, okay.
Scarred them with the axe. To
Yeah.
make it looked like it originally did. And we do 4th grade tours up here every year.
That's funny. Oh, you just lock all the students in there and go for lunch. That'd be fine. Oh, this is.
But I was the last in the last 4th grade group that got to go through the original building.
Are you serious?
Before the fire.
Wow, that is awesome, sir.
And this building actually started the fire.
Oh fuck. Okay, let me definitely get out of here.
Well, no, you saw the big tower that stands up behind. That's the emergency radio, which we've actually had to use already several times this year.
Wow.
But the radio used to be housed in here, so you'd come in here and radio out, and a rat chewed through the wire and sparked the fire that ended up burning.
We've seen a few rats riding up on the road and just skirting across.
So it's kind of ironic. The fire was caused by the emergency radio. Now they house it in a metal box that's attached to the pole. But
so, was there ever any actually like mining or?
Yes.
Yeah,
There were over 150 mines in this area during the
all
heyday.
up on either side of the creek, right?
Yeah, so it serviced Hancock, Tin Cup, Poplar, and Grizzly
Okay.
gulches, which was, like I said, over 150 mines and 3,000 people that lived in the bunkhouses in those mines. You want to be in jail?
Dude, I will. Okay, why not?
Don't worry, there's a back door if you get nervous.
Let me out! Oh, you locked it. Let me out! Please. Come on, I'll give you anything, dude. Please. Hey, it's open. That's awesome.
You want a chance in?
Yeah, get in there. Get in
You're
there.
just doing a recording.
There's a recording he does, and they go back to the edits. All right, Carlton, I'll see you on the other end, buddy.
Don't smile, you're in jail.
Yeah, you're in jail, dude. Like seriously, go on the back, and I'll keep him occupied. Lock the back door real quick.
Yeah, you know, if he gets rambunctious, and we're having a town meeting.
Oh, shut up! Bye.
Yeah. That's how it originally was, is they had the 2 doors. That way if they were doing like a council meeting or something, they could always, and the prisoners were being rambunctious,
Yeah.
they could just close that second
But could you imagine literally holding this attached to you 24? That's worse than an ankle monitor.
You know,
Look at that.
I'm
Look,
not
look.
entirely certain that that's original to the town. In fact, I really doubt that it was. I don't see why they would put you in a ball and chain when they clearly had such a sturdy jail cell.
Well, then
I'd
again,
rather try
I think
to get out of
it would be
jail cell
honestly.
than that thing.
I think it would be the yard out there.
Yeah, those logs are yay thick, so.
I would actually think the only reason being so they can run, throw them in the yard. That's the only thing I can think of. Recess, you get an hour.
And this lock is actually a replica that was made, I think somewhere here, we've got the keys to it.
Oh, this is actually a safe. Holy shit. Oh, that sucker's heavy.
Yeah, here are the keys to that lock.
That sucker's heavy.
Little skeleton keys.
Yeah, you ought to see my set of skeletons. Not that I need them.
Yeah, they're rare to find, especially nowadays.
Well, no, I can pick locks.
Oh yeah?
And lever locks are the easiest type to pick. But yeah, this was a replica that we had made, or that was not, we didn't have it made, but it somebody, one of our many loyal people picked this up.
That is awesome.
The town of Deadwood, which I believe is in South Dakota.
And how far does this, what's the name of this creek over here?
Chalk.
Chalk.
The local historic society is called Historic St. Elmo and Chalk Creek Canyon.
Chalk Creek,
And you
okay.
saw the cliffs when you were coming up.
Yeah.
those white cliffs.
Yeah.
Well, you always used to know when they had a rainstorm up here because in Salida, the river looked like milk because of all the chalk that washed into the river.
Ooh, okay, I can see that.
And so it gets just.
And how far does this go up?
This goes up and it hooks around and it meets up with where the railroad grade was and where the old railroad depot used to be. There's a clearing.
Yeah.
There's one offshoot that actually, there are 2 boxcars that are original, that were left behind when the railroad pulled out in the 1920s. And those boxcars, one of them has almost completely collapsed, but the other one is still standing and they've built a big awning over it to protect it. And so you can go and go see that, and yeah, and it was actually a one-way loop. So carts would go up this way because it's much steeper, and they had no load, so they were empty. They'd go up the steep way. They'd go to the depot. They'd get all the freight, and then there's a walking trail that comes down, and it comes into the other side of town, right by where my cabin's at.
Yeah.
And that was where they bring it all down because it's much of a smoother grade going down.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's
How is it here early in the morning when no one's around?
perfect.
Okay, yeah,
How else can I put it?
yeah,
How else can I-
yeah.
You ever hear anything up there? Voices or anything like that? Like,
I would imagine.
No, I hear stories, but I think the ghosts leave me alone. I don't know whether it's because I have such a family history up here, or whether it's because I do my level best to keep their buildings standing. But one way or another, they've never bothered me. I've even stayed in the hotel across the way, in the same room that my great-great-grandfather used to stay in. And quiet night, cold, as always up here at night, but quiet.
that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
And this is actually one of the original water pipes that brought the water into town from the dam up above.
Oh, okay, wow.
Wow. The same thing that happens with ships. You put them in the water, the wood swells and creates a watertight seal.
Yeah, that's actually really neat.
And these here, voting instructions in Italian. And they would have had it in Italian, Swedish, German, several different languages because, that was a really important thing to be able to vote. And it was such a diverse ethnicity up here that they had voting instructions in multiple different languages.
Well, you gotta imagine, a lot of times there were different immigrants just flooding in, and especially during the rush back then. Imagine a horse and buggy, no flat trail, just a flat metal kind of curve off to the side, and your trusty steed. But then again,
and this town's heyday was between 1880 and 1920.
Yeah.
Was when the heyday was. So it was pretty early on when the West was just starting to get developed out this way.
Sweet.
Not many places left like this.
No. This is the most intact ghost town in the West. And this octagonal building here is a replica of what was a phone booth. And that was built when President Roosevelt
When he came through
visit the town.
I know that Central City, they pulled up all the cobblestone and they had several bars for him, and he told the town's mayor at the time, why?
Yeah.
And he says to show what we have.
The very first time last year. And believe it or not, this building didn't have a floor or a foundation to speak of when we got here last year. So this entire floor is new.
Yeah.
We had to actually erect scaffolding in here and lift the entire building by its roof to get it out of the ground.
Oof.
Because this is just a board-on-board construction.
Yeah.
It's not framed, so it's literally just one-bys overlapping.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. With a thin mesh, and you just back then though didn't have that.
Well, back then the thinking is okay, these buildings will last 10 years, then they'll burn down in a fire. And then if we've made money, we'll rebuild in brick. If we haven't made money, we'll leave.
So the roof is original though, right?
No, this is part of what was the American House. This was the parlor to the American House Hotel.
Okay.
It originally extended all the way to the tree at the corner.
Okay.
And about 20 feet further back, and it was 2 stories tall. But when the roof collapsed in the early 40s, the owner at the time took down the rest of the building, put the pitched roof on this, and stored all of the lumber in here. And so when we got here,
like this.
when we got here, it was stacked floor to ceiling with almost 3 tons of lumber.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And none of it was really good to use, so we ended up removing it all. This is all from our current project. And each piece of this is piece labeled.
Yes.
And so we'll put it back exactly where it came from.
That is awesome. And it's only a small hand of you guys working up here, huh?
5.
Yeah.
And saying that my dad works much anymore is a bit of a stretch. He just sits in this trailer and thinks, which is kind of a necessary thing with what we do. You need to just have someone sitting aside and just thinking, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What material do we need? What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I do electrical, so yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
And
No foreman.
I went to school for carpentry for a year. Framing and everything, and so I basically did this, but now I'm back in school for welding, and I got another little over a year and a half left. So.
Well, and doing historic's way different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be.
Square, nothing's straight,
Yeah.
nothing's the way you think it should be.
So
and I mean, you can see the siding on this side. On the outside, you can see it. I was the one who made the call to keep this straight, in lieu of the fact that this siding, you can see the huge hook in the roof.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And this window that's got that angled bottom rail. And that's because they built it wrong. So like stuff like this, I mean, that's just so much character right there.
Yeah, imagine when it part collapsed, it chipped something. This piece broke, and the glass came up and chipped it out as it collapsed in back then. But we weren't around, we don't know. But the historical value and the story behind it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty.
Well, yeah, we found the 4 original.
Yeah.
So these 2 and those 2, top and bottom, and then we were able to use those to replicate the remainder. And I mean, you can see here, this piece of wood alone took me 2 days to mill because of this swoop out at the top that I had to mill in the side. I mean, and getting all these muttons just right. And this is all we do for a living. We specialize in it. So we've got all of the routers, all of the table saw, every different tool you need to make an extremely custom, one of a kind piece of wood. And I made awesome. 2 of them, and the first one didn't quite get this swoop just right.
Oh, that swoop, that one comes in straight angle,
No, that's a difficult piece.
Yeah.
Well, and then to get it to feather onto the back of this piece, and to have to grind that out to get it perfect, and it's just, I don't know, it's an extraordinary. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
All but one of them. I think one of them we have replicated, and that's not something we can do. But there are companies that you can get a hold of that will replicate hinges